Hello, everybody. Welcome to Really No Really. I'm Jason Alexander. I'm here with my best friend, Peter Tilden. And you may ask, why am I speaking so quietly?
Because there's a golf game in the other room? What are you talking about? What are you doing this for?
It's a theme. I'm on theme. Our theme today, our really today, has to do with quiet, does it not?
Yeah.
Well, that's so I'm setting a tone.
Really? No, really. Really? No, really. Really?
Today is about the quiet.
Yes.
Because we found out there's a quiet zone in the United States that's 13,000 square miles large.
What?
No Wi-Fi.
What?
No Wi-Fi. No cell phones. And we wanted to find out from a guy who visited and wrote about it, are the people there happier? Because we talk about technology and cutting back on your cell phone. Every week I get another article about, on Fridays, do Quiet Friday for 4 hours. And I go, shut up.
Where do you get, wait a minute. Where do you get an email? Who's sending you an email about Quiet Fridays?
I was on radio for many years. Authors send me stuff. I get stuff all the time.
And they would send you a thing saying, hey, respect Quiet Friday?
Well, somebody wants to come on the show to promote Quiet Fridays, to be healthier, so you can have better mental hygiene.
And that show went off the air. I can't believe it. That is, what a topic.
My show was on for years. Anyway, can we get to this?
Can I ask one other question? 13,000 square miles in the United States is a quiet zone.
Let's get.
Did you add a zero?
13,000.
I believe 130 square miles. I maybe believe 1,300
That's
square miles.
the kind of prep you do.
13,000 square miles.
If you read a page.
You want to stand behind that?
If you read a thing.
Of quiet. Where there's no technology, no cell phones, no nothing. 13,000. Where is this place?
I don't know, but I'm yearning to get there. It's 2.5 hours out of Washington. Stephen Kurczy, our guest, visited there, wrote a book about it, was moved about it. Stephen, 13,000 square miles. Right.
Is that true, Stephen?
Right?
That's the correct size, yeah.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I need gloating. I need a minute.
Oh, let's take a moment of quiet gloating. 13,000 square miles. And located where exactly, Stephen?
So it covers 3 states, West Virginia, Virginia, and a little bit of Maryland as well.
Well, it must be quiet because I've never heard of it.
A lot of people never heard of it, and that's because, explain what's there. It's our surveillance is there. Our telescopes and our listening devices for the country are stationed there, correct?
Yeah. So maybe I can go back to the beginning of why it was established. So back in the 1950s, the United States was investing big in this new science of radio astronomy. And radio astronomy, it's listening to those radio waves that are coming in from the deep reaches of space. And to establish a Radio Astronomy Observatory, you got to put it in a really radio quiet place, just like you got to put, an optical astronomy observatory in a really, dark place. And this area of West Virginia is kind of circled around Green Bank, West Virginia. It's in the Appalachian Mountains there. It was deemed one of the quietest places on the eastern United States and the most suitable place for hosting this first National Radio Astronomy Observatory.
So you're saying it's listening to the stars. It's also listening to Brenda in her bathroom in Colorado, correct?
Well, in a sense, yeah. So around the same time that the U.S. was investing in this, creating this National Radio Astronomy Observatory, the U.S. Navy was also active out there in the Appalachian Mountains to establish a very secretive listening post, where to this day, the National Security Agency, which is kind of like the intelligence arm of the Department of Defense, operates its own collection of about a half dozen radio antennas, which are actively swooping up millions of phone calls, messages, emails, everything, every single second, essentially. It's been called the largest eavesdropping bug in the United States. So yeah, there's this quiet zone for 2 reasons. One, for listening to the stars, and also for listening to this amazing radio.
Wow. And you were complaining about the Roomba gathering information on another show.
What's cool about this, we've talked about tech and how teenagers are ruined and destroyed by tech, and the fact that we underestimate our screen time by 100%.
Yes.
So which makes sense. But I don't need to see my screen time. I get it. I get what I'm doing here. But Stephen, the fascinating thing about him, before he went into the quiet zone, he traveled all over the world. He's written articles for a lot of magazines, gave up his cell phone. So he didn't have a cell phone for 10 years?
Yeah. It was back in 2009 when I last had a cell phone, and I just kind of threw it away. I could just remember the clanking sound of it landing inside the garbage can.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been living in Cambodia and I was traveling around Asia and I just decided I wanted to take a break from this device that wasn't going to work anyways while I was traveling. And when I got back to the US, I didn't want to spend money on, this fancy new smartphone that everybody was pressuring me to get. And that turned into weeks, turned into months, turned into this like philosophical aversion to a culture of constant connectivity where we're forced to always be looking at this device and having it on us all the time and being available for everybody all the time. I've kind of just rejected that. And eventually that desire to live that way led me to Green Bank, West Virginia, where
Wow,
it's quiet, not just naturally, but by law too.
And now we know why we had so much trouble getting him to return a call.
Yeah, the guy doesn't answer
Never
phones. He doesn't
answers
have
the phone.
It's not ringing.
Can't be
Doesn't care.
bothered.
Could not
I
care.
thought can't be bothered.
I love that, by the
Big
way.
important guy writing about quiet time. Can I ask one question? So, was this like when they established this 13,000 square mile? Was this an eminent domain thing? Did Brenda in Green Bank get to say, "I'm not so happy about this," or was it imposed on people?
In a sense, yeah. I mean, any remote community that doesn't have a whole lot, going on economic wise would be thrilled to have this huge investment of federal dollars, right? But at the same time, when you're the person whose farm is getting paved over to build this new astronomy observatory and to have these new devices being erected in your cow pasture or whatever, you're not going to be the most thrilled. So there were some cases of eminent domain being used to take farmers' lands. The Astronomy Observatory, it's over 2,000 acres in that patch of Green Bank, West Virginia. So yeah, it kind of took over quite a few people's
So Stephen,
land.
but let's get to it. So the people there, limited tech. I mean, after looking at the book, there is some Wi-Fi. There are people who don't adhere to the rules, even though you're supposed to. You can get fined, whatever. But
Wait. So there are people. So this is an area where supposedly there's no real available Wi-Fi signals or tech, but people are gaming the system sometimes. I can't get a Wi-Fi signal in my house,
Well, it's still
and I
not-
use a very prominent provider.
Yes, you
How
do.
do they pull that off?
it's still not ideal because you still have to use a desktop, etc. But give us an overview of these people. About, are they happier with face-to-face? Are they doing face-to-face? Does it look like Mayberry there? Does everybody have a piano and board games? Are they all playing inside and it's la-di-da? I'm really happy because I'm not being judged online.
Yeah, that's a great question because, when you first go into the town, and a lot of journalists have gone there and written articles about it, you do get that Mayberry feeling. There's, some quaint general stores and people say things like, never had cell service, never had Wi-Fi, we don't miss it. But then the longer you stay there, you kind of start to see, oh, that family actually does have Wi-Fi at their home. It's just kind of hidden in the closet and they don't want to tell the observatory about it because they don't want to get in trouble. Or you start, kind of discovering this culture and this history of quirky characters who've been attracted to a super quiet place to kind of get away from it all. So they can go and just like the observatory, like the astronomers did, they wanted to go to a place where they were quiet, where they could get away from all the noise of society. There's lots of quirky characters who are out there who have been trying to get away from it all for various reasons.
But with face-to-face, do you see a difference? Is there an overall difference that people are a bit happier?
There.
Because the tech is limited, let's put it that way.
Yeah, there's actually an Italian researcher who did a study where he interviewed a bunch of people around Pocahontas County. So Green Bank is in this county, which is the size of Rhode Island. It's a county, it's a state-sized county called Pocahontas. And he interviewed a bunch of people there and also in a neighboring county where doesn't have these same quiet restrictions. And he found that people in the quiet zone do report being measurably happier and they have less stress and they're less, freaked out, I guess, by having their devices all the time. There was another researcher from the University of Illinois who went out there and he found as well that whereas in popular culture, we have this idea around dead zones being places that are lifeless, or it's kind of like a glitch in the matrix. It's this place that you want to avoid, these dead zones. But rather than it being a lifeless place, the quiet zone, it's actually full of people who are just more intentional about when they want to be online and offline. And they can kind of seize control over this aspect of our lives that so many of us have lost because we're always tethered.
It's interesting because I've read about a teenager and they venture out, they go to visit friends who are not in the quiet zone, etc. And she has computers and all of that. She comes back and said, I really missed being outdoors and doing a lot of the stuff that I did at home in the quiet zone. She wasn't that enamored with it.
Being outside.
Being outside, yeah, it was okay, and it's great.
She went on like a Rumspringa, and she didn't.
And by the way, the Amish only use, different sects use it differently, but they use it for commerce rather than owning it. They leave it outside of the house. There's all kinds of rules because they don't want the community to be absorbed into the outside community. And oddly enough, a large percentage of those kids stay. So there must be something to that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a strong sense of community and of knowing everybody there in Green Bank and in the surrounding county. In part, that's because there's just not a whole lot of people there. So it's a Rhode Island-sized county where there's only about 8,000 people. It's one of the most sparsely populated counties east of the Mississippi River, which makes it a really quiet place naturally and a great place to have this Radio Astronomy Observatory. It also means that you're going to start seeing the same people at a lot of the same events, be it the biscuits and gravy on Sunday at the community center.
Well, that's actually I wanted to clarify that. So when we say a quiet zone, do we mean merely technologically quiet, or is it like no fireworks, no radios after 10 o'clock? Is it really restricted in that way as well?
So no, it's not. It's only restricted in the radio noise sense. Gotcha. Radio noise, which is given off by your microwave oven or by your smartphone, or even by starting up your gasoline car, which is why on the observatory itself, you're only supposed to have diesel engines beyond a certain point because they don't have a spark plug inside that's going to give off that radio wave. But if you think about it, radio noise tends to be associated or to come with actual audible noise. Like a big factory making a lot of noise is probably going to have a lot of radio pollution coming off of it as well. So it tends to be naturally quiet in radio quiet places.
I would go nuts. So there's still a dog barking. See, I have misophonia, which means background noise. Like if I'm talking to you right now, I'm fine. But if there's a cadence of like scratching, or my dog like walks around with his nails on the wooden floor, it drives me out of my mind. I can't control it. It's like, it's horrible, especially if there's a cadence to it. So I can't imagine in a quiet zone, if there's like dogs walking around barking, do they tell the dog to shut up, or it doesn't matter because it's not electromagnetic?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. If the dog has an electric blanket that's malfunctioning,
can I just ask you, what is wrong with you? What does that mean?
I have a thing.
What is the condition? What is this condition?
Misophonia. He's going to, Laurie, do me a favor. We need a misophonia.
Googleheim, check that one out.
Giggleheim.
Yeah.
Googleheim, check it out. If I have a disability, why are you laughing? Why is that funny?
What is it? If your dog is walking around, you can't focus?
If I hear noise, Lauren, if I'm sitting and talking in the front seat of the car to somebody, and somebody's in the back of the car talking, I lose my mind. And I don't do it intentionally. It's not like, oh, please, I want you to... It's that other noise is so disruptive that it actually drives me nuts.
So if I do this,
I'm going to kill. Yes.
For the rest of this interview, you won't be able to focus. You won't be able to function. This is making you crazy. You can't even understand.
Hold on,
what
let me
I'm
close
saying
my
right
eyes.
now.
I can see the emails flying in now. Telling Jason, shut. Why don't you punch Jay? That sound I could do. You punch.
I know you 30 years. I never knew this about you.
Because you don't ask. But that's a whole other show. Concern for other people from a big star from Seinfeld. So.
I heard Big Star. Everything else I couldn't hear. That's my hearing.
Because you don't hear that often.
I heard Big Star.
Because you don't hear that often. Oh, he has misophonia. Jason has misophonia.
So wait. So now all we've heard so far is that people go to this place. They say either they were there and they enjoy it and they stay, or they go there specifically for it. So you've lived there? Is Peter referenced Mayberry. Is it all sunshine and light, or is there like an underbelly to the quiet zone?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just radio scientists and NSA operatives who've been attracted to the quiet zone. There's been a whole host of like various groups over the decades, over the past half century, that this place has been around, that have been attracted to this place, and not all of them have been the most savory characters.
Oh, really?
Well, there's the neo-Nazi encampment there, right?
Yeah, actually, one of our country's most well-known, at one time, the preeminent neo-Nazi formation, the National Alliance, which was operated or founded by this guy named William Pierce, who wrote the Turner Diaries.
Yeah,
which was kind of been a key motivating text for the far right. Timothy McVeigh actually had that copy, had the copy of that book in his getaway car from Oklahoma City after perpetuating that bombing there. So it's been a real motivating text, and he was operating out there from the quiet zone just south of Green Bank for several decades. So we got neo-Nazis out there. There's a strong back to the lander hippie movement that has been attracted to this super quiet place. You can imagine they want to get away from culture and from the economy and to kind of live off the land. So they've been attracted to this place. A more recent group is actually these people who believe they have something called electromagnetic hypersensitivity. You two are probably familiar with the show called Better Call Saul.
Sure.
Yeah, remember the character of Chuck McGill, who believes that he's made ill by Wi-Fi, by cell service, by the lights inside the buildings that he goes inside. So there's many people who believe they have this illness, and hundreds of them have gone out to Greenbank and the surrounding counties.
Peter, is that a sister ailment to misophonia?
Don't be condescending, which means talking down to. My question for you is this. You have all those people escaping the electromagnetic fields and cell phones and lights, and they're there. I had heard, first of all, somebody committed suicide there, shot herself in the head, right? A Wall Streeter who went there for that reason to get away. So that got some attention, aside from the hippies, two hippies dying mysteriously there. So the town has some stuff going on. But the electromagnetic thing has never been proven medically. I looked that up. I heard that in the quiet zone now, somebody got smart in the real estate. Listen to this, Laurie, because, Laurie, by the way, you need real estate. That they put out advertising saying, hey, escape the world of electromagnetic, come here. And the real estate values started going up because it's like Jimmy Buffett land for seniors. Come here, we'll charge your premium because we have margaritas at 5. There, they advertise
Since we don't have. Come to us, here's what we don't have.
Yeah.
We don't have Wi-Fi.
A beautiful
we don't
two-bedroom,
have streaming.
Two-bedroom
we don't
condo.
have computers. We don't have cell phones. We don't have pools. We have only one bathroom. We only have there's no clubhouse, and we charge you more for that.
Bingo. Is that brilliant? It's brilliant. We provide nothing, and that's because you asked for it. Is that accurate, that people are actually moving there and that the real estate has been inflated?
Absolutely. Yeah, I talked to one of the biggest real estate agents there in the county, and he said, yeah, we get a call, pretty regularly from electrosensitives or from people who say we want to go to a place that doesn't have
That's a group.
These things.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a group, and they cater to that. So now, this is probably the only real estate agency in the world that actually has a little icon or whatever on that property listing saying in the quiet zone.
You know what's amazing? If I may summarize this, what I'm thinking about, and I'm just getting this for the first time, is you got neo-Nazis there who I'm sure want to be away from interracial mixing. So they're because it's predominantly white.
And law enforcement.
Wait. You threw that away. It's predominantly white, the quiet zone?
It's in Appalachia.
Yeah, I mean,
well,
it's in Appalachia.
So I would assume, and that's why the neo-Nazis move there. They're not going to move a place they go, hey, let's go to a Benetton ad, a place where there's
one. But the Rodriguez family can't go to the quiet zone?
Yes. But I'm just saying, my observation is if the neo-Nazis move there to get away from then you got the people who want to get away from the lights and the Wi-Fi signal. And then you get the hippies who want to get away. It's really about escape.
By the way, hippies went out with the 60s. There's a new...
Well, he called them hippies. Go yell at him.
Well, he's not right about everything.
Okay. All right, you want to redo the hippie
He knows
thing?
about quiet. He doesn't know
Can
hippies.
I make my point?
All right, go ahead.
It's fascinating that all these people go to a place to escape something, and yet it's really about what's internal. It's not about what's on the outside, right? These people, are they happier, or do they get there and go, wait a minute, I'm here now, but I'm really going, it's an escape culture rather than a let's live life culture. It's kind of fascinating.
It's kind of like that joke, no matter where I go, there I am.
Yeah.
Right. If you're bringing something with you to the quiet zone, it's still going to be there, when you go to the quiet zone. So if that's some kind of internal paranoia about people following you, or some kind of extreme, paranoia about other races, or dislike of other races, if it's the belief that you're being physically harmed by various things around you, that's still probably going to, follow you into the quiet zone. And that's been the case. You mentioned the woman with EHS, electromagnetic hypersensitivity, who killed herself.
Right.
Obviously, she didn't find what she was looking for in the quiet zone. It wasn't quiet enough for her, even in the quietest place in America. So you have to wonder, is there anywhere that would have been quiet enough for her?
And she was Harvard, as I recall, Harvard and also Wall Street. I mean, this was a highly educated, really successful woman, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. She went to Vassar College, and then she went to Harvard Business School. She was one of the earlier classes of women to graduate from Harvard Business School. And then she was caring for disabled animals, kind of rescuing cats and dogs, stray cats and dogs in the Charlottesville area of Virginia, until she herself felt disabled by this onset of electromagnetic hypersensitivity. And then she started going out to Greenbank.
Stephen, I know that that's not necessarily your particular area of research, but as far as just anecdotally, and this is a true thing. So I have a carpal tunnel in my right hand, and I find when I touch my fingers to the screen of my phone, it triggers, or I feel that it triggers the carpal tunnel. So I don't know if that qualifies as electromagnetic, whatever. But as far as you know, because Peter said anecdotally this has never been proven to be a real thing. Anecdotally, from your experience, does it seem to be a real thing? Do most people who claim to suffer from that, who come to the quiet zone, do they improve generally?
They say they improve. And sometimes they say they improve enough to where they can leave the quiet zone for either permanently or going out and coming back in. I found anecdotally that the more I thought about electromagnetic sensitivity and the more I was looking into it, the more I started to wonder if I had it. I'd be, there's these little coincidences. I'd be working on my computer and a message might come through. And right at that moment, or right before the message came through, I might have had a weird feeling or a pain or something. And then it's were they connected somehow? Your brain just starts making these fantastical leaps, between this being the cause of this. And then when I stopped thinking about it, it didn't happen as much. It's like when you're obsessed with a certain number or a name or whatever, you start seeing that number everywhere.
So wow. Jason made fun of me, but I'm have to sit here stone faced for his little whatever illness or whatever thing he's imagining.
Mine is a physical thing. Yours is a
physical imagined thing. So,
no.
So Stephen,
they created a whole zone for me.
I
don't hear the mesophonia zone.
You know what?
There's a whole 13,000 square mile place in America where people can't tap.
Laurie, we're going to get emails from everybody who has
dogs can't walk on the floor.
Misophonia, okay?
I'm sure it's a real thing. I'm sorry you suffer.
Oh, now see, this is when he comes, and then I'll get a call tonight, and then maybe a small gift. And then he'll do it again. Then he'll bring it up again and make fun. Before we go, I don't think
there'll be a gift.
Are you still phoneless? Have you still maintained that life? Do you find it a better life?
Yeah, I still don't have a cell phone. It's been 12 or 13 years now, I guess.
Jeez.
And from everything I've experienced and read, I believe that my life is no worse and is in many ways better because I don't have a cell phone.
Oh, you've missed at least 3 book deals. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. They couldn't get you on the phone. They said, if we can't get Stephen, the deadline, I don't know where he is.
Let me ask you one other thing.
Look at his face. Look at his face. Linger on that for a second.
Yeah,
because he's joking.
Maybe he's I missed 3 book deals. Maybe that's about. Do they have television in the quiet zone?
Yeah, let me just clarify some misnomers. There's internet in the quiet zone. It's not the land where the internet ends. It's just supposed to be, plugged in internet. There's television. It's just supposed to be plugged in. And the radio.
All right. So they can see reruns of popular shows.
Oh, here we go. So yes, you couldn't walk down Main Street.
They could stream if they needed to. They could stream a show. It wouldn't be wireless, but they would stream it on a hard wire.
What he's trying to get at is even in the quiet zone, they would yell out, George can't stand you.
No, first of all, they can't yell it out. It's a quiet zone.
They're allowed to yell.
No.
When did you make this? What are you, the mayor?
They yell out George in the quiet zone. I'm going, shh, quiet zone.
Well, Stephen, thank you. Stephen is an award-winning journalist. He's been in the New Yorker, The Economist. The book is The Quiet Zone, Unraveling the Mystery of the Town Suspended in Silence. And I don't know about technology. Does he seem happier than a normal human being, a regular person
Does
with a phone?
Does he seem happier? Yeah. The hair seems like it hasn't been...
Looks like he had an electromagnetic incident with the hair.
It doesn't seem... I'm not one to judge people's hair, but I'm just saying, you're asking me to observe.
But because he doesn't care what you think.
No. He seems... Listen, I'm looking at the forehead. It's either he's carefree or there's Botox. I don't know which.
But he's got to look how many books he's got. So
he's got a lot of books.
Obviously, he's a reader rather than...
watching television shows from...
Well, are you going to go back to the Quiet Zone ever to check it out and do an update or no?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a place that's continually fascinating to me. I'm going to keep on tracking, the creep in of noise that is happening in the quiet zone. More and more people are getting cell phones and smartphones and Wi-Fi.
There it
it's
goes.
Not what it used to be.
No more quiet zone. Well, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's been great to speak with you.
It's been fantastic. Shh, quiet, Peter. He's going
back
now.
to that again.
He's going now.
We ended our interview with Stephen at the Quiet Zone, and apparently the takeaway is that people do appear happier. What this episode, my take on this, and then I'll get your take, is I'm doing everything wrong. It's always wrong. I'm using my computer too much. I'm on the phone too much. Give this up. It's like McMindfulness. It used to be mindfulness, where you gave up the Buddhists, you give up your ego, and you give up your possessions. This is for profit for somebody. Like the McMindfulness movement is like a good example. It's Marie Kondo. My wife is like going around the house saying, I love your shirt, goodbye. I love you desk set, goodbye. I'm going, what are you doing?
Well,
She said,
first of all, that's not right. You're not. It's supposed to be, does this bring me joy? If the answer is yes, you keep it. Tommy's doing it all wrong.
Apparently, a lot of my stuff in the house did not give her joy. So she's throwing out my crap. My sense is, in a couple of years from now, they're going to find all my crap in Marie Kondo's basement, and there's going to be a big house sale, and she's full of it. So I said to my wife at the time, still my wife.
Yeah, I was going to say clarify.
At the time, I said to my wow, that could have cost some money.
Yeah, right.
So I said to my wife, you know what? She's full of it. She's going to have a store selling product. And she said, never, not Marie Kondo. She's about giving stuff away. 6 months in, the Marie Kondo store. It's get rid of your crap to make room for my crap. And now she had a baby, another baby, like I think her third. And she's saying, my house is a mess and it's okay because I'm too. So again, McMindfulness, I should give up my stuff. I should give up the phone for this amount of hour. Nonsense. I like chaos. I like noise. I like to be part of insanity. So I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up tech.
If I tap my pen,
not that kind
your
of,
head explodes. What do you mean you like noise?
Not that kind of noise. But I like chaos. I like the phone going off. I love emails. I want to be part of that. I'm not giving that up. I think it's that movement to be better, to find your true self, and your true self means less social media. That ship has sailed.
All right. I have many responses to you. First,
all right.
First and foremost, Ms. Kondo, if you're listening, his name is Peter Tilden. I enjoyed your book. I enjoyed your podcast. I enjoyed your programming. And I believe in the system that you have created. I think it's wonderful.
Wow.
My partner has some issues. So if there's any legality to be sought here, his name is Peter Tilden.
Wait. What did I say? What did I say?
You threw Marie Kondo out
I'll show you
the
you want me to show you the article that I just pulled? It said her house is messy. Right, Laurie? Her house is messy now. She admits that her house is messy. And she has a store that sells product.
That's different from... Oh, wow. This will all be cut out. All be cut out.
What did I say that was legally jeopardize us? And thanks, by the way, for pointing it out.
By the way.
Yeah, go ahead.
It may not be a legal jeopardy. It was condescending, which means to talk down to. A friend of mine told me that. Here's my take on the whole thing. Let me ask you a question, first of all. On my screen, I got my iPad, I guess. At the end of every week, I didn't ask for this, but a message comes up at the end of every week saying your screen use for the week is up or down from the week before. Right. Does that happen to you?
Of course that happens to me. You think it's
what
just
is
you?
your emotional reaction?
Microsoft just singles you out to do that?
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
your
everybody-
business.
it
I don't know
happens
your business. What is your emotional reaction to hearing that it went up or down?
I don't even care.
You don't care?
I'm not gonna
Seriously?
are you going to alter your? Oh wow, I'm an hour up. Who cares?
I get. I'm embarrassed when mine goes up. I go.
To whom? By whom?
I feel like I'm wasting my life. What have I done? There's nothing I'm doing on the screen. My computer is one thing.
Okay, so to my point. So what have you changed?
But
what have you changed now that you know?
When that happens, I actively go. Okay, I can't use this app as much this week. I can't use that app as much this week.
You're insane. You're insane.
I don't need to go to a quiet zone. I don't need to have rules imposed on me. I can self-regulate myself.
Well, you're an amazing human being. Let me just say,
if I don't want to use my cell phone, I don't need to be like Stephen. I don't need to throw it away. I put it down. I walk away.
You know what
the
I'm saying?
fact that it's next to me right now is not indicative of anything.
By the way,
just because I'm doing a podcast.
Excuse me. I don't know if we have a remote. Do we have a remote camera, Laurie, or anything? Look at the table here. Mr. I can give up stuff has his cell phone a foot from his elbow. Mine is nowhere to be found. So that kind of
nowhere to be found. If I frisk you right now, I'm not going to find your cell phone on you. No, I don't really want to. I was just asking hypothetically.
I haven't been touched in a while.
Here's my next thing I want to know.
Oh boy, there's
Since
more.
when because this caught me.
Yeah.
Since when do neo-Nazis want to be quiet? Aren't they like propagandizing? Aren't they? Don't they have these networks on the 4chans or 8chans or 12chans or whatever chan they're on? Aren't they always putting? Or is it just?
I think he moved there a while ago. I think this was a while ago.
Stephen moved there a while ago?
No, the guy, the neo-Nazi.
The neo-Nazi guy. But he said there's a whole group.
I don't know that it's still. I don't know it's still there, but I think they liked it because it was in the middle of nowhere and they're not scrutinized.
Okay. I just think
more questions. You want me to answer that?
I don't understand it. I didn't understand.
That's why we had Stephen on.
And I also don't understand, if I may. Seems like a very nice guy. I liked him. I enjoyed the conversation. Guy doesn't have a cell phone. Guy isn't wired into anything.
Here it comes.
Guy lives in the quiet zone. Writes a book. What is he doing? He's on a podcast, on television, on radio, on streaming, hawking the book on all the things that people will deal with in a unwired way. That's where he's promoting see if you unplug and unwire, read my book, and I'll promote this thing. Do you hear any sort of, I don't want to use the word hypocritical. I don't know if it applies. I'm not sure. But I'm just saying, it struck me a little odd. That's where the man would promote.
Hey guys, I'm still here. I hear this.
I didn't mean him. I meant the hippies.
Right. That's
the
what you meant.
hippies from the 60s.
Everyone knew you meant that.
They're
not Stephen.
the ones. It's not Stephen. Stephen doesn't. That wouldn't be Stephen.
Don't think he's buying it.
All right. What do I go? What's he going to do? Call me names on a not plugged in machine?
That's what he would never know.
He would never.
Just like
know.
the Amish. Well, thank you for being Stephen. Thank you for being with us. Again, Stephen's book, award-winning journalist, The Quiet Zone, Unraveling the Mystery of a Town
Would you
Suspended.
live there? How long would you last there? Seriously. How long would you last?
You know what's funny? And in all honesty,
Yeah.
like people go, "You're so hyper, you're neurotic.
Yeah.
You go on a vacation,
You can't sit
can never
still.
relax."
You have no attention
a
span.
day or two on vacation. If
Yeah.
I'm really away,
Yeah.
second day,
Yeah.
I don't care if somebody died or said they'll be dead when I get back home. I can completely unplug.
I, honest to God, I've traveled with
You
you.
want to do something called the contest? Does that ring a bell?
Oh, sure, yeah.
See who can do without their phone the longest?
Without their phone?
Without their phone for the longest.
I'm going to lose. You know why? Because of the two of us, who probably has more business calls and emails to deal
One
with?
up at me. Google Heim. Did we do anything? See, I probably lost, so you threw in the towel already. Anything that we missed today, Mr. Google Heim, that needs to be corrected?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, of course, of course.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to get in on the misophonia that you have
Yes.
talked
Okay,
about.
I can't wait to hear this.
Now, people with misophonia are affected emotionally by common sounds that can make them angry and have other sorts of feelings. These sounds could be breathing, yawning, chewing, baby crying, eating, rain. Now, I'm not a doctor, although I could play one online. It also could be something called hyperacusis, which makes everyday sounds seem much louder than they should.
So
these
far,
are-
neither
there's-
have decided. So yes, if I hear a baby cry, that is a thing. And nails on a chalkboard, that's a thing emotionally. I understand it. Rain
Yeah.
could be a positive emotion. He's talking about if the dog
Background noise.
is walking across
Yeah,
the
yeah.
floor, he can't get it together. That's
how he's
going to
looking down
send
at me.
him.
You can't get it together because
Is it a
of
real
the
thing?
dog.
Is it
Is
a real
that
thing,
sound
Google?
like misophonia or the hyper thing that you described, or is it just Peter?
Well, I'm sure it's just Peter, but
the two of you
people
can-
suffering
Yeah.
from hyperacusis can be affected by a barking dog, a car engine,
A barking dog,
vacuum.
yes, sure. Those can be highly annoying sounds. But click, 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 click.
know what
of my
else is getting
dog
to be an
walking
annoying
across the
sound?
linoleum for 10 seconds.
You know what else is currently getting to be an annoying sound? What else you got for
Well,
today's show?
and also, Jason, I'm not done diagnosing Peter yet.
Yes,
because there's
please.
a litany of things that he may have.
Oh, you're
He
not
may have-
you're not kidding, brother.
I know. I think he might be hitting all the stops here. He might have phonophobia, which is also called sonophobia, which makes some sounds, especially louder sounds, make you fearful or anxious. So I don't know if that.
No, that
may
doesn't
be-
affect me.
that
It's
doesn't sound like
It's just
Peter.
rhythmic sounds in the background that have a cadence to them, drive me crazy.
I think that's
Anybody
called,
else have
I
it?
think
Anybody
that's
in the other
called
room have it? Yes, you do.
Tildonitis.
See, he has
Tildonitis?
it. He has it. He's not. Look.
What? No, you don't. Don't.
Yes, he does. He's
Stop,
not-
please. Please.
Ah,
Please.
You know what
He's on
Can-
payroll.
Can I,
Of course he's
Can
not.
I do a public service here? Before you get involved in a business or anything with anybody, vet the background really carefully. Really go deep before you have an association that's legal. Now I'm stuck.
What aspersion are you
You're
casting?
judgmental.
I'm not judgmental.
You're much more judgmental
If
than I
you
thought.
want to believe that the sound of your dog's
Oh,
nails
boy.
clicking
All right.
across the linoleum for 10 seconds is the reason you can't focus or hold it together, God bless you. I support you. Go
So you're
for
cutting
it.
him up too? You're
Go
cutting
for
him
it.
up too?
I don't listen. He's nodding to you because
Don't you have the
he's
same
paid
thing? You
to-
really have the
he's
same thing?
He's paid to nod
He's
to
not.
you.
He's nodding. Come here. Come
I
here.
know he's
Come here.
nodding.
Come here. Tell Jason, or can you go on mic? Can you say?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell Jason.
Yeah, it's unbearable.
Unbearable.
If someone's tapping,
If someone's
it's
tapping.
unbearable.
Unbearable.
And you focus on that instead of the person talking.
You just found a new partner for the Really No Really podcast.
We got
You're not
to wrap.
gonna
We got to
top
wrap.
that.
You got anything else, Guggenheim, before we go?
I do not.
All
That
right.
was it. Just casting aspersions on my misophonia.
So listen, what do you say? You want to go? Should we go to Green Bank, West Virginia, and see what it's
no
like? You want to
interest.
go?
I don't
Is
want
that your next vacation
No,
spot?
no.
We go together for your
during
birthday?
COVID, I've
you want to
become
go?
somewhat for my birthday.
For COVID, there's 8,000 people and 13,000
No, I was just
miles.
saying-
It's the safest COVID zone in America.
Yeah, let's say we're going to go. BS.
We're going next week live from Green.
Thank you, Laurie.
West
Come in for a
Virginia.
second. Come in for a second. I just
Yeah.
want Laurie to be involved in this for one
Can
more
we
second
take
before
Laurie
go.
when we go to the quiet zone?
Laurie,
Yes.
on a scale of 1 to 10, how mean was Jason to me with the misophonia? And be honest.
You are mean.
There you go. Thank
Because
you.
misophonia is very real.
See?
No, seriously. You know, with the whole misophonia thing, that for our show, I make fun of you.
Oh,
and
now
I'll take
he always
any
ends,
reason
"No,
I can get.
This is the Don Rickles.
But who
I'm
loves
a
you?"
nice guy. He kills everybody. He's misogynistic, racist. And then it's, but I'm a nice guy.
No, I think I actually knew.
We have to reset.
Oh,
Garrett's here.
oh.
You done? I thought you were done.
We're just finishing
Let's
right
tie
now.
up.
We're just,
We'll
we're
tie up.
just
Give us 2
we'll
more
wrap it
minutes.
right this
Give us
second.
2
Yeah. God Almighty, she walks
All right.
in. We're
Just 2 minutes.
we're rapping. This is our producer.
So-
this is how good we are. She
Yeah.
wasn't sure that we were still doing show.
Right, yeah.
That's always telltale, Laurie. That maybe not your favorite episode. Oh, I didn't know you guys were still recording.
Yeah.
It's our producer.
So
Thank
can
you.
I just say that you know that I adore you, and I know you have many things, and I always make fun of you because that's
I-
what we do. We make fun of each
do
other.
love you, I know.
You make fun of my height, my hair, my stomach, my failed career. Should I keep going? You want me to keep going?
Next episode, we'll see it. We don't know what it is, but what's the difference? It'll be marginally good and
This has
interesting.
been really no really.
With Jason Alexander.
And the quiet.
The quiet zone.
And
There's a
Peter
quiet
Tilton.
zone. Really, no, really.